Well, howdy, y'all. How y'all doing here? I'm Michael with M&M Model Railways. M&M stands for Michael and Michelle. That's my wife and I. I'm sitting here with my cowboy hat on, and I'm sitting here in a location in my office. Behind me, you see a mural of a house. Let me try to straighten you out there a little bit. There you go. So I used to live in a house like that, and I used to have a boarding facility. And you can see that barn right here, and you can see the crows. Well, what I'm going to be doing in this video, my friends, is I'm going to be building a stockyard kit. You can see a picture of that on the screen in front of me right now. And what I'm going to be doing is putting that on my train layout, but it's going to look completely different. If you want to see what this this quality meat stockyard looks like once it's done, please keep watching. This kit comes in a box and has a picture on it, as you've seen in the opening screen. And inside it says this has instructions, step-by-step, illustrated step-by-step instructions, scale drawings, as you can see in front of me, a symbol picture, positionable gates, easy expansion, scenic details, available separately. So you're seeing that right there. So what I want to do in this part is I want to basically read the instruction area here. So when you get your sheet right here, if you look at it, get my reading glasses on, it has quality meat stockyard here. And these are pretty cool directions. So what I want to do is I want to read the bill of materials, what you will need, and the instructions, and before you start. And then it starts with step one down here. So we'll do step one in another video, as you can see by the lineup. So bill of materials, it says sheet and strip materials. So we got 2 3 3/4 inch laser sheets, 1 and 3 3/4 laser cut self stick sheets. Let me kind of talk to you about what those are. So these are the 2 laser sheets. So you got this big one right here. That's the laser sheet. And then you got this plan right here. This is a laser sheet. This is the laser cut self stick sheet. You can see that. They give you a close-up view of that. So yeah, as you can tell, you can see through it. So, all right, and then it says we have 2 12-inch by 7.5 corrugated sheet pieces of metal. And this is the corrugated sheeting. And it does have a corrugation on one side of it. That's pretty cool. Then you have 1 12-inch by 10-inch corrugated metal sheet. That must be a part of what those are. Oh, that's separated. All right, so that's what that is. That's a big separation. So there must be 2 of those metal sheets in there. Then you got 1 4x4 by 11 strip wood. Let me very carefully show you that. That's the strip wood that they're talking about. That's very, 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 very tiny. So that's also in the box. And then it says castings and detailed parts. We have 6 peak vents and 3 feeder troughs. So those are all in that bag. So what I'm going to do is carefully put all this stuff back in here. Just wanted you to see what was in the kit. Very, very fragile stuff. This is a very, very, very tiny piece of wood. And I already know what it's for because I have read it ahead. Okay, let's read what you will need. Number 1, a sharp hobby knife. Number 2, a machinist square and masking tape. Number 3, white tacky glue. Number 4, sandpaper, 220 grit and emery boards. Number 5, metal ruler with 1/32 markings. Number 6, scissors, tweezers, and a metal file. And 7, paint. It has black, gray, brown, rust, beige, white, and brick red. We're going to switch some things up in here. I'll talk to you about that as I get to the step. So, introduction. The Quality Meat Stockyard Kit is the perfect company for our Quality Meat Packers kit. It includes all the necessary elements of a modern stockyard operation, including hay barns, shelters, unloading chutes, holding pens, and feeding troughs. Beef cows, rolled hay, bales, and additional feeding troughs are available separately as part of our Make a Scene detail parts line, which can be obtained from the local retailer or the N-Scale architect directly. This kit can be used as a standalone operation or combined with additional quality meat stock kits to create a large stockyard operation. The design of this kit follows standard practices of the Canadian Pacific and other railways since the early 1900s and up until livestock shipment operations ceased on most railroads by the 1960s. Now I'm going to read before you start. Each piece in this kit has been identified with a letter and number combination, part number. The letter references a specific section which the number identifies an individual surface, wall, roof, floor, etc. within the section. Detailed pieces to be applied to these surfaces are identified in a similar fashion. The location of each piece is indicated on the full-size diagrams and laser plate maps included on the last page of this instructions. Note the identical pieces are labeled the same on the top view diagram can be used to place the completed model on your layout or in-track module. So you see I have the floor plan. This is a top view looking down, and this is what basically comes on those 3 laser sheet maps. Okay, let's look at number 2 here. All pieces are painted before assembly to simplify the application of multiple colors on a given wall section and to produce an overall neat appearance. These pieces are painted at logical points in the instructions to allow for drying time and to save time by painting pieces of the same color at the same time. That will help. Number 3, strips of masking tape can be used to hold pieces in place while the paint is being applied. Sometimes the tape will permanently adhere to the paper backing of the self-stick pieces. If this occurs, leave these pieces attached to the tape until it is time to use them in the assembly process. Solvent-based paints from an airbrush or an aerosol spray can consistently produce the best results. If you are using water or latex-based paints, it is best to prime the laser-cut wood pieces with a matte solvent-based paint, gray or white, before applying the final color. Be sure to apply this paint in a well-ventilated area. Okay, number 4, solvent-based paints from the airbrush or an aerosol container. I already read that, sorry. Let me read number 4 again. Solvent-based paints from an airbrush or an aerosol can consistently produce the best results. If you use a water or latex-based paint, it is best to prime the laser-cut wood pieces with a matte solvent-based paint, gray or white, before applying the final color. Be sure to apply this paint in a well-ventilated area. Number 5, always test fit pieces before gluing. Paint may slightly swell openings, slots, and tabs, which will need to be trimmed or sanded before gluing. Inexpensive emery boards can be trimmed lengthways to sand inside small windows and door openings. Number 6, when gluing corner pieces together, apply a thin bead of glue from the inside to improve appearance. Be sure to wipe off excessive glue immediately. Small strips of masking tape can be used to hold pieces in place while the glue dries. Number 7. Though you should find that the castings included in the kit are nearly free of defects, any excess material, flash, I guess is what that says, can be removed under sandpaper or a metal file, using sandpaper or a metal file. The castings should be cleaned with warm soapy water and air dried before painting. Be sure to wash your hands after handling these castings. Okay, so then it talks about the steps down here after the instructions. So what I'm planning to do, my friends, is I'm planning to do a step. I'm going to read the step, and then I'm going to do the step and complete that on video. And then once that's done, you'll know that I'm moving on to step 2. I'll read step 2 and do what step 2 says, okay? All the way down until we get to step 6, and step 6 is actually constructing the layout. So we'll be using the pictures. We'll be doing this on video together. This is a very exciting time for Michelle and I, as we are looking forward to this build, and we're inviting you to come along and join us. So keep watching as we start into step 1 coming up next. And what I want to do is I want to use a piece of my foam board to lay these things out on, because I'm going to be opening them up. Well, that's one of the first things I want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read step 1, and then I'm going to do what step 1 says. To begin construction, use the laser map, plate maps, and the diagrams to locate 2 sets of Y1 through Y6. So Y1 through Y6 is going to be on this plate 1. Y1 to Y6. So when I look for Y1, that's yard 1, so there's 2 sets. So plate 1, you can see that, so yard 1. So these 2 here are yard 1, okay? It says locate, yard 1 through yard 6. Okay, so that's all of these on this area right here. And then yard 1A, yard 1A, yard 1A. Yard 1A is on this next sheet right here, and that's these 2 areas right here. Yard 1A. And then it says Y3A. Y3A is yard 3, yard 3A, and yard 1. So yard 3A. So yard 3A is the bottom piece. So this one and this one. This one is yard 1. Okay, so there's 2 fine things that make up yard 1. Okay. Yard 1 through yard 6. So yard 1 through yard 6. S1 through S16. Where are they at? Okay, S1. So we got S1 right here. I see S2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't see S1 anywhere. S1. It's got to be one of these gate sections here. As you can see there, they're divided like that. And 3 sets of T1 through T4. Already seen them. T1 through T4. They're on this laser sheet plate 1. Okay. We got those located. All right. All right, there's my T1. I found my T1 right there. And 12 TD. 12 TD. There's my TD. There's a bunch of those. TD, there's 20 of those, it says right there. So I only need 12 of those to start with. Where are they at? They're on laser cut plate 1. So those are these gate pieces here. All right. Remove all but the TA through the TC and TD and the posts. Easier to paint while these are still attached. Pieces from the laser plate by cutting through the small connectors using a sharp hobby knife as shown in figure 1 and label them with their part number when practical. On the back side with no etched lines. Okay. Paint both sides of yard 1 through yard 6 and yard 1 through yard 6, and I'm going to stain them instead of painting them. And then I'm going to paint TA through TD and post brown and paint both sides of A1A, A3A, S1 to S16, and T1 to T4 brown. Do not remove the paper backing from the stick, self-stick pieces at this point. Note that strips of masking tape can be used to hold pieces in place while the paint is being applied as described in tip 3 and photo 2. Find the 6 piece peak vent castings and after following the procedures described in tip 7, paint them gray. To add more interesting paint the roofs and louvers vent black with a small brush or permanent marker. Also find the 3 corrugated metal sheets, 4 by 8 by 11 inch strip wood, and paint them gray, weathered with rust. Okay, that's all in step 1. So I'm going to work on step 1, and I'm going to show you what it looks like as I go along here. And let's see if we can't start getting some stain on here and start doing some pretty amazing things. I'm probably going to do this off camera because this is the first time, but once I get step 1 done, I'll go and read what I did, and you'll be able to see it come to life on the layout here. So let me get started on this, and we'll be back in just a little bit. Well, as you can see, I'm still on step 1. I separated the majority of the wall or the building sections, as you can see, and I stained those already. And as you can see in this picture, it told me to put some masking tape down and stand them up. And now, as you can see, it didn't work very good. I only got one standing up, and I don't know what the remedy is to get them to stay standing up. Maybe stronger tape, I don't know. But I think once they're staying, they're okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm painting all these little gate sections. That's what it told me to do. So I clamp it with pliers and just paint it. The cheat sheet up there helps me to know what these are. I can just find the shape on my paper, and it also told me to label some of these other ones, so I did that as well. So I'm painting my fences and my gates of teddy bear color, and I like that color. So I will touch these up a little bit more when the paint dries. Hold it up so you can see it in the light. And as you can tell, it's pretty tedious work. But in step one, it wants you to separate everything and paint everything before you start assembling. You can see that, but wanted to have room to work my materials too, so I didn't want to put them all on there at the same time. Touch that up a little bit. So I'm just going to keep on painting, and I have to separate these out of here as well. This is my my rest of my fences and my chute sides, so I'm going to get them done. And all of this stuff over here, I don't think it has any place to go. I think it's just all part of the building material stuff. But I'll keep these, I won't throw them away in case I need some of that stuff in there. I may not know what it is, but I think that's just all part of the packaging. But I'll separate out of my my fence material. I'll get that painted too. So, all right, my friends, come back and check out step 2. Well, as you can tell, I've got the building walls all stained the color that I wanted. Got all the gates and the loadout chutes all painted. So now what I want to do is I want to read what step 2 is. Step 2. To build the hay barn and shelter, lay the back unsubscribed side of Y3 on a flat hard surface and use the diagrams and photo 3 and 4. So this is the side that they want me to use. So this is the subscribe side. So they want me to lay that down flat. I'm going to use a cutting board for that as your reference, and glue Y2 and 3, 5 into Y3. Okay, so let's find that. So we got this one here. So this is all the same stuff for each one. So Y2 is going to go right there into Y3, Y5 into Y3. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do them first, like it shows me here in the picture. You can see that. So, and then it says after I do that, Y5 into Y3, Y6 into Y3. Y4 into Y3, and then add Y1 on the top of this assembly. So basically we're going to start building the assembly. So let's take a look at what we're going to do here. So if you look into the light of this, you have some areas that are hollow and some that are not. So I'm going to take my tool and push those little things out so I can glue my pieces on there. So I'm going to lay that down. So I think that's a pretty good hard surface. I think we're going to go ahead and use that. Unsubscribe side of Y3 on a flat surface and use the diagrams of photo 3 and 4. And glue Y3, so Y3, yard 3. So yard 3, I've got that. And glue yard 2 into yard 3. So yard 2 is the outside corner. So I'm going to glue that into this outside corner. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue along this edge here. This will dry clear. Okay, now you have a perforated edge there, an edge that has lines on it. You can see them right there. That goes to the outside of your building. I'm going to put that there. And I brought a piece of wood to help me keep this straight. So I'm going to put my piece of wood up here. That'll help me keep that straight until it dries. Y5 is the next piece, so that's a diverter piece. So you got to look and make sure that you're getting your little fittings going straight. So I think that's how I want to do that. I'm going to put some glue on that one. Bring that down here. Just put something in there to help you hold it up. So Y4 is the other side. Y6 goes inside here, so holding that up there too. We'll make dynamos out of it. Place something else there to help hold that. Very delicate. And here's Y4. This is my other side. So I'm going to put some glue on it as well. Detailed stuff, my friends, detailed stuff. And this is the outside of the other one, so I'm going to go ahead and carefully glue these pieces in here. I'm going to put this outside edge. That where it belongs there. Very, very difficult. You get the idea, right? It's very difficult to do this.
Almost as hard as putting those people in a canoe.
Yep.
I don't know if they heard me. Might want to repeat what it did.
She said almost as hard as putting the people in the canoes. All right, my friends, I'm going to struggle with this, and then I'll come back and let you see what it looks like once I get it installed. Well, there's the base construction of our little barns. There's the first one, and that's about the cutest thing. So now it tells me I got to put the roof on it. So next, use the diagram and photo 5 as your reference. Glue yard roof 1 through yard roof 6 roof pieces to the top of this assembly, working from left to right. Finally, glue yard 1A and yard 1-3 on the front of yard 1 and yard 3, respectively, as shown in figure 6. Be sure that the notch in yard 3A is facing the yard 3 wall. So that's what I'm going to work on now. So I'll go ahead and pause the video until I get the roof put on here. And there's a lot of intricate parts, as you can see right there. And I ended up using some super glue. You need to have it tack pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and do that part of this, and then I'll come back on and show you how that looks. Okay, I have completed step 2. Step 2 was to put the roof material on, as you can see. That's the, I guess you would call it the plywood edge of the roof. That's on. So let's look at step 3 next. Okay, step 3, according to my sheet here. Let's read step 3. Step 3, measure and cut 4 pieces, 1 5/8 pieces from the 7.5-inch wide and 2 inch and 5/8 pieces from the 10-inch wide corrugated metal sheet using a sharp hobby knife and metal straight cut. So I got, this is the stuff that they're talking about. I don't know why they have 2 sheets, why they couldn't have just assembled in the whole thing. And then it says, install these sheets by applying a thin layer of glue across the roof sections using a sharp piece of cardstock or wood sheet. Align the top edge of each piece with the upper edge of the roof peak and then smooth it down on the bottom and side edges. Note that the 7.5-inch wide pieces are installed on yard 2 through yard 5, while the 10-inch pieces installed on yard 1 and yard 6. Start with the 7.5-inch wide piece first and work left to right. Be sure that the adjoining pieces butt up against each other in the valley between yard 2 and yard 5 roof sections. Once dry, trim off any excess material so that it is flush with the edges of the roof section. Now use the diagram in photo 7 as you refer to gluing on the peaks. So I'm going to go ahead and put this aluminum stuff on there, and then we're going to put the peaks on there, and referring to gluing on the peak vents to the top of each peak so that it is approximately 11/16 from the edge of the roof sections. Then cut 6 pieces of from 11/16-inch pieces from the strip wood and glue them to the peak of each roof, peak caps, between the edge of the roof and the peak vents. Repeat steps 2 and 3 once more to create the second set of hay barn storages. Well, I've already done both of them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and cut these pieces of aluminum foil. I'm going to go ahead and get them put on there, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. And hopefully I'll get my wife to paint those peaks. That'll be the what did they call them? The roof edges. Not the roof edges. What were they called? The vents. The peak vents. You can see them up here. They're the peak vents, and then we've got the peak caps that go up there as well too. So this is quite an experience to do all this. So let's get on to cutting these pieces and see just kind of how it goes. I don't see that there's a big difference between the 2 pieces. Maybe it's just in the width. I don't know, but let's get going on cutting these, and I'll get them installed, and then I'll be back to show you what these look like, and then I'll have to wait for my wife to get the little things painted, and then we'll start putting the crows together. So keep watching. Well, this is an exciting time as I get to finish up part 3, which you can tell that we have the roofs on, the louvers are on. That looks pretty cool. Look at that in the camera right there. So that's concluding part 3. Of course, there's 2 of them, so they are both completed. All right, let's come back and let's look at what step 4 is all about. All right, we are on step 4. It says using the diagrams in photos 8 and 9, which are the chutes, it looks like, as you refer to building the 4 unloading chutes by gluing T1 to T2 and then insert and glue T4 into the slot in T1 and to T2 so that the lower edge of T4 is flush with the back edge of T2. Next, glue T3 to T1 and T4 at TA, TB, and TC after removing the paper backing. to the vertical posts of T2 and T3 using the non-etched areas as your guide, and then add TD3 to the top of the vertical post after removing the paper backing as shown. These are on another piece of paper. This is a backing piece, and what they're asking me to do is peel them off of there. I do have to paint them, but I thought I would go ahead and paint them as I needed them and not beforehand. So far this has been a pretty detailed instruction kit. I really appreciate that. Okay, and then it says repeat this process 3 more times to create the total of 4 unloading chutes. Once dry, lay the front scribe side of S1 on a flat hard surface and insert T1 and T3 of these unloading chutes in the slots and the gate areas on S1 as shown in diagrams photo 8 and 9. All right, my friends, I'm going to try to get that accomplished. I'm going to do that off camera, and then I will come back, and in the second part of step 4, I'll show you how I assembled that. It takes a little bit of time to work through it to find out what I'm really after and what I really need to do. So just bear with me and keep watching, and we'll put step 4 together. Well, hello friends. We have now completed step 4. As you can tell, is photo 8 and 9 on our list, which is to assemble the area here. It says repeat this process 3 more times and create a total number of 4 unloading chutes. I'm going to show you these loading chutes. They are the coolest thing ever. Very, 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 very tiny stuff. Then it says once dry, lay the front scribe side of S1 on the flat hard surface and insert T2 and T3 of this unloading chutes into the slots and the gate area on S1 as shown in diagram 8 and 9. Side of S1 happens to be the long rail, so that's the other part of step 4. So what I'm going to do is push this back. We're going to go get S2. That's what it says to do, number 4 here. Once dry, lay the front scribe side of S1 on a flat hard surface and insert T1 and T3. T1 and T3 of these unloading chutes in the slots in the gate area on S1 and shown in diagram 8 and 9. So now they want me to take the long fence section and insert that. Let me go get that for you. See, here is S1. So it says, once dry, let the front scribe side of S1 on the lap and then insert T1 and T2 of the unloaded chutes on the slats and the gate areas provided. So I'll lay that down right there. And then this is the low side. So this gets installed under like that. So I'm going to have to glue these little top boards on there. I think I'd be happier with that. Let me get this attached to this gate assembly, and then I'll come back and talk to you again. Well, I'm happy to announce that step 4 has been built. Step 4 is building the chutes and getting that front railing attached to it. I am glad to have gotten this done. I'll be coming back on a little bit, and we'll be taking a look at step number 5 here in just a minute. All right, step number 5. Now, using the diagrams and photos 10 and 11, we're going to be making this here. We're going to be bringing everything together. As your reference, build the holding pins and alleys by first gluing the tabs of S16 into the notches of Y1A and yard 4 side of both hay barns and shelters. Insert and glue S8 into S16. Add S12 and S13 to S8, and then attach S9 to S12, S13, and S16. Repeat this process using S10, 11, 14, and 15, and then attach S7 to these two assemblies and notches into Y1A on the Y2 side of both hay barns and shelters. Now glue S2 through S6 to S7 and then add S1 with the 4 unloading chutes attached to S2 to S6. Use your machine squares to keep this assembly square and tight. Finally, use the 2 view diagrams as your reference to add the posts to the stockyard assembly. All right, let's do that, and then we'll look at what step 6 is when we get that done. So I'm going to go ahead and do step 5 off camera, and I'll come back on and I'll show you what step 5 looks like on the completion. Be right back. Well, as you can see, I've finished step 5, and it looks like photo 10 there. That was the end result. So let me show you this. I'm not going to take it off of the platform because I'm going to do some other work with it. I'm going to build a base for it because I don't want this to get moved. These chutes are a little high because they got to go up on the ballast, up onto the track. And there's the other side of it. And once I get it established to the base, I will get that assembled. Step 6 of this situation here is once this stockyard assembly dries, you can cut the middle and the ends of the gates that you wish to leave open with small flush cutting pliers. As this process might reduce the strength and the squareness of the assembly, you might want to wait until it is mounted on your layout or N-Trax module to accomplish this task. Find the feed or trough castings and prepare them by painting the following process described in tip 7 above. Paint them gray on all sides, and once dry, glue these castings in place as shown in top diagram. We're talking about the feed troughs. I painted mine light brown. So what I'm going to do here in step 6, instead of opening up the gates, I've found a piece of wood that I'm going to paint, and it's basically the same size as this whole structure. A little bit of twist to it. Might have to find a piece of wood that's better. Maybe this piece of wood would be better. This one will lay more flat. So I'll go cut that, and we're going to apply some paint, and we'll be right back. And a piece of wood lays more flatter. This is my base color to my dirt color and ground color. I'm going to put something over the top of it to make it look like it's acrylic, but I want to start out with my base color first, and there's a reason why for that. I'll show you when I get to another step. A let's basically get that painted. And as I'm doing this step, I want this wet, but I have some red dirt mixed up. Let me show that to you. It's a combination of dirt and foam that we found. So what I want to do is I want to do a second coat and keep it wet. And then I'm going to keep that wet, and then I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to put this over the top of it. That'll make it look like it's got cow droppings on it and whatever else is in there. Get it kind of thick, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. I want to keep applying my paint. I want it all wet. Very heavy paint. You'll see why here when it's all done. Very wet paint. The reason is I want to put this dirt mixed with this brown foam in here. This will make it look like that's part of the texture area. Makes it a little bit of thinness. I want some of that orange to show through, but not a lot of it. So I'm just going to keep putting this down on here. Then I'm going to go over it with some wet glue application. A lot of dirt in there, a lot of foam on there. Don't worry too much about those edges because I made it so they'd stick out a little bit. All right, I'm going to close that paint up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush here, and I don't need that no more either. I'm going to close that up. And I'm going to use this brush, kind of level it out, push it around. Maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe I need a dry brush. Let me get a dry brush, and that should give me the same effect. A fairly large dry brush. I'm just going to try to level some of this out. Like I said, I want some of the orange to show through in some areas. I think that'll work. And what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll let this all dry, and then I'm going to put some water mix with alcohol on it and then some glue, and then I'll let that dry. But that should dry into my lamb base. I'll mix some of that around there because I want to see a little bit of that orange dirt color through there, especially where the chute might be at, you know, the alleyways and stuff. Alright, I think I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back with some wet water and some glue. And then once that's all dry, then we'll put that over the top of that. And I think that'll make it look pretty cool. So anyway, check back soon. Well, as you can see, I made my base. I think that looks like some manure in there and some dirt and some aggressiveness. So here's going to be the test, is going to be getting this onto here. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, because it's going to be very, very delicate. I don't know if I could slide it off of there. I'm going to check to make sure we're not glued down to our table. Maybe I can just set it up there, huh? All right, here we go. I do have a loose gate in there. I kind of broke when I built it, so I don't want to take it too far. So I'm going to work on getting it square on there, but that's what it's going to look like in there. That's going to make for a pretty cool looking display. And these here will set down on my ballast going up into the rails. So I'm going to work on making this square, and as you can tell, it's pretty much there. So as the front's down a little bit, so I'm going to glue it down to my layout, and then we'll see what it looks like on the layout. So I wanted to thank you for watching this video, and it's been fun. It's been interesting to try to make this. So what we need to do next is in the next video, we're going to actually put this on the train layout. And we're going to show you how I'm going to do that coming up in the next video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos, please subscribe to this channel. This has been an exciting build, and like I said, I read the steps, and then I did the steps, and I revealed what it showed. I think that's a great thing to show this, and like I said, I'm going to call this step build number 55, building a Quaility meat stockyard. That's the name of it. So thanks for watching. Check back soon when we do another video on laying this thing out on the train layout. Thank you for watching.